Now, let's see how you do. There we go. Hello, sorry about that. I think we got it working now. Come on in. So sorry about that. That's what happens when you do experiments. Thank you. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me. This is my first IG Live. And I am trying to figure it out on my own. Hello, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. I had a little technical difficulty, so I'll give it a couple of minutes and allow a few more people to join because I saw a number of people who had joined. Oh my God, it's so good to see you guys out there. Hi, Anita, I see you. Michelle, hi, Michelle. Travis, Swoop. Hello, Constance, welcome. Pooja, welcome. I'm so excited to see you guys. So sorry I had some technical difficulties, but hopefully it will be well worth your while. Hello, welcome. Come on in. I am going to ask that you grab something to write with, and for those of you that have your computer handy and you're able to take notes, come on in. This is my first IG Live, so trial by error. Thanks for hanging in there with me. Hey, how are you? Thank you, Michelle. Oh my God, you know, when I was talking to my team about trying to come up with a solution to be able to touch more people because there's just not enough hours in the day, I had this idea of doing an IG Live, and you would think that I had experience doing this. I have no experience at all. So bear with me, my heart's in the right place. I am overjoyed that so many of you decided to join me this evening. So come on in and make sure you grab something to take notes with, because this is welcome to your first modern mentoring session with Lani. I know some of you I've had the pleasure of knowing for many years, and some of you are new to me. So I wanted to start off by just giving you a little bit about me, and not something that you can get from just reading my bio in LinkedIn or whenever you hear the formal bios. Today, oh my God, I see such wonderful people out there. Darnell, hello, lovely. I miss you. Big hugs. I see so many people out there, so hello to you. I wish I could just virtually hug you all, but welcome, come on in. But for those of you that don't know me, my name is actually Sherlaender Phillips, but everyone calls me Lani. Feel free to call me Lani. It has become just a part of me. So I used to say it was a nickname. Now it's starting to feel like it's just who I am. I work for Microsoft, and I think a lot of you have figured that out. I'm about to celebrate 24 years with Microsoft. How I made it 24 years, I don't know. I must tell you, I've learned a lot though, and I spent a lot of time trying to give back, but it has been so important to me at this stage in my journey that I not only work hard, but that I spend just as much time giving back to others, because I think about in my early days when I got started, there were just so many wonderful people that just wrapped their arms around me and said, hey, you've never done this before. Let me kind of tell you the rules and how you're going to get through this thing. And, you know, we all look up, we continue on our career journeys, and next thing we know, 5 years rolls by, 10 years rolls by, and we have to start saying to ourselves, we got to make time for more people. So this is my experiment that will allow me to hopefully scale mentoring efforts and try to help more people. And I recognize we have many different people on this live from many different backgrounds, many different industries. I was really specific for this one though. I really am targeting those that are early in career or midway through their career, still trying to figure out how to navigate the corporate waters. But I did try to pick the tips that I felt like everyone could benefit from. So my goal is to share about 7 tips. We'll see if you end up with 10. I will let you know that in my organization, I actually shared 20 tips with them, and I kind of did a rapid fire with them. I'm choosing to do 7 right now because I want to make sure that I can slow down, share the stories, provide you some examples. And then what I'm hoping I can do after I share those 7 tips with you, I'm really hoping that you guys will start to ask me questions. There are going to be some ground rules because we have so many people out there. I am going to say I want to keep questions focused on the topic. Oh my God, I see Virginia Beach in the house. Hello, welcome, come on in. But I want you to know I want to keep the questions focused on this particular conversation topic, which is going to be focused on my career lessons. And every week I'm committed to being on here. And I'm going to invite some guests because I think I have a lot of people in my network that you all could benefit from. And I'm going to let you guys offer up suggestions for topics because I really want this to be something that's valuable to all. So with that said, I'm going to jump in and give you your tips because I already messed the thing up with technical difficulties. So I don't want to take up any more time. But another ground rule is to know me is to know. Oh, I said I was going to tell you a little bit about me. So Microsoft a long time. I'm a wife. Been married almost 20 years to my wonderful husband, James Phillips. He puts up with me. And I do say put up with me because he has this corporate wife who kind of has all of these crazy ideas, and she travels a lot and she likes to help people. So he kind of puts up with all of that, and I've moved around a lot, and I'm coming to you guys from Naperville, Illinois tonight. I actually live in Chicago. Well, I guess my Chicago friends would say you can't claim Chicago living in Naperville. But I'm not going to be here much longer. I've decided I'm going to relocate the family and I back to Texas. And yes, we're going back to Houston. I think it's time. We have 0 people here other than one of my dearest best friends lives here. And I am ready to get back to Texas where my friends and family are. That's where we belong. And so we're going to transition that way closer to the summer. But I want you guys to know I have a huge passion for developing talent, and I also have a huge passion for leadership. And you guys probably hear a lot on LinkedIn about my thought leadership on leadership. And the reason I have so much passion around that is because I really think that we're seeing a paradigm shift with leadership. And I think it's important as a leader today to really thrive today. You have to lead from your head and your heart. And so you hear a lot about different strategies around how to do that effectively. I've been studying it for a long time, and I've been practicing it for a long time. And I will never profess to be an expert, but I'll tell you, it's something that I'm very intentional about, is creating the best experience possible for my team. So that's a little bit about me that you wouldn't learn on LinkedIn. So y'all ready to get started? I see more people joining. All right, yes, I'll still be close. Yes, Dallas is not that far, 4 hours away. I have one sibling. Most people think that's crazy. I have one sibling. That's it. Her name is Dewana. She lives in Dallas. I love her to pieces, and I'm not going to be that far away from her. So let's jump in. All right, so I wrote down 7 tips. Y'all ready to take notes? All right, and then y'all start thinking about your questions, and I'll figure it out. Y'all know this is my first IG Live. I'll figure out how to invite you to go live, or I'll try to answer your questions that you type out. And I have some subject matter experts out there. So if there are questions out there that you can answer, feel free to jump in because it takes a village, right? This is all about trying to scale our efforts. So I'm going to jump in. First lesson I wanted to share with you guys. You know, one of the things that I kind of learned late in life, and I wish I had learned early, is the importance of having a life plan and have a career plan. And those two have to fit together nicely. And let me give you some examples. When you think about a life plan, that life plan is all about those personal goals you've set for yourself, those educational goals, those family goals, whether you're getting married, whether you're getting divorced, whether you're ready to have kids, where are your kids in terms of ages and stages of life? Can they be in a position to relocate? What's going to be your commitment to them? What are you doing in all of your community activities? You need to have a life plan. And you have to determine that life plan first. Then you have to think about your career plan. And your career plan is all about, what are the accomplishments I've had? What are my short and long-term goals? What are those things that I feel like I'm really good at? What are those areas that I'm investing in from a development standpoint? And what are those activities that I'm working on? Some of those activities are going to be activities you're going to do on the job. Some of those you may have to invest in formal training. Some of it may be learning from other subject matter experts. I just think it's so important you have that life plan and that career plan. Now, here's where the two can collide and where mine collided. So I didn't have a life plan before I did a career plan, because I was the corporate girl, I was the one had all these big dreams about what I wanted to accomplish. So then it came to a point in life where I get married, and we all know I got married later in life. And then I wanted to have kids. Never grew up thinking I would be a mom. And it was time for me to have kids, and that was a difficult process for me. I ended up getting pregnant right when I did a career move. And on top of all of that, I got hospitalized for most of that. So you can only imagine how difficult that can be. So I just tell everyone, it is so important to think about your life plan and think about merging that with your career plan. Because at different stages of your life, you may not want to make such aggressive moves. And aggressive moves may be relocation, maybe take on more responsibility at work, which puts more pressure on you. Some of us, continue to live. You're going to have parents that are going to start to age, and then you're going to have to take on responsibility of taking on your parents and helping them through their older and golden years. So you really need to take that life plan and that career plan and marry them together if you want to have the best experience. So I hope that tip helps somebody. All right, here's the other one. I call it identify your superpowers. I will have to tell you that I probably spent most of my career focused on my weaknesses instead of my strengths. Because I came up in an environment where they didn't spend as much time talking about the things that you were good at. They spent most of their time talking about what you weren't good at. And you spent half your time obsessing over how can you get better in the area that they say you don't have strengths. Now, let me tell you the lesson I've learned. And I owe it all to Marcus Buckingham. I had an opportunity at a conference one year to hear him speak. And I must admit, it was game-changing for me. Because what he talked about, and he's also a co-author of Go Discover Your Strengths. He talked about the importance of you really doing the work to identify what your strengths are and investing in them. And how much more return on that investment of time you would get if you focused on your strengths and make them towering strengths, versus if you put all that energy in your weaknesses, you're only going to get marginally better. Now, see, that was powerful for me. You know why? Because up to that point, I had spent all my time trying to get better at my weaknesses, and I could have put that energy in my strengths, and they could have just been towering strengths. And what I've learned over time is we all have some value that we bring and something we're really good at, and we should spend our energy investing in that and being the best version of ourselves when we can leverage and activate those strengths in business. And I will tell you, you will find that your career will take off because you've invested more in the thing that serves you so well that you'll be acknowledged for that strength. And then what you do is surround yourself with people that have strengths in other areas to complement you. And I have to tell you, when I started doing that, things changed for my career because I was no longer obsessing over my weaknesses. So let me keep going. I'm sure there's a lot of questions there. Let's go. The third one. Here's one that I've had a tough time with. I hope you guys are okay with vulnerability. I do vulnerability really well. Embrace social as a platform to share your thought leadership. I will be honest, I didn't do that so well. I will be honest with you. I was like, social, I don't want nothing to do with it. But then one of the things I learned is that was the way to connect with partners. That was the way to connect with our customers. That was the way to connect with the community, potential candidates that wanted to come work for the company. And I realized that it was going to be so important. And I also will share this with you. I had someone say to me that I've been at Microsoft so long that my name is synonymous with Microsoft. My feelings got hurt. But you know what? There's gift and feedback. Feedback is a gift. That's the better way to say it. Feedback is a gift. And someone said to me, my name had become synonymous with Microsoft because I had been there so long. And I said, so what am I supposed to do with this feedback? They said, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you to make sure that your voice is heard and people understand what your thoughts are. And it was during that time that I started trying to explore the social platforms and understand I had to learn them and learn how to leverage them for good. And I also had to learn how to make sure that I really got clear on what I wanted to say and what are those areas that I wanted to focus on, that I felt like I had unique gifting and I had a strong point of view that could make a difference. A lot of people are still in various stages of using social. And I'm here to tell you, you can't run from it anymore. In business today, it is going to be critical. So go ahead, take one platform, begin to learn that platform and use it. And I will tell you, I'm the first person to sit someone down who I think has a strength in that area, and I will quickly become a student. But I do want to encourage you, don't be afraid of the technology. Go ahead and leverage the technology. Figure out kind of one or two areas that you would like to be a thought leader in. Write an article. Start by providing small comments to different people's posts. Curate a few articles from other people and comment on it. You can start so small and then it will grow from there. I tell everybody, because I know a lot of people ask about my social, I write my own stuff. It's important to me that I own my own voice. I don't do enough videos. My team asks for videos weekly. I got some issue with videos. It's something that I'm still working through. I love in-person, face-to-face, and I am still growing in that area. So it really means a lot when people connect with me on social because it is a fairly new area for me, and I've only done it for 1 year. Because I know exactly when I started. So thank you for that. All right, so you're going to embrace your social platforms because you really don't want your name to be synonymous with your company. You want to also be known as, like for me, I am a technology executive, but I have a point of view. I just happen to work at Microsoft, and I love me some Microsoft, don't get it wrong. But it was important that I spend the time making sure that I can separate myself a little bit from Microsoft because all my thoughts are not Microsoft thoughts. I have my own unique thoughts. So I'd love to see you guys do more of that, okay? Those of you that are running from social, you're not alone. I'm right there with you, and I'm learning, and I got a village around me coaching me. All right, the next one. You have to commit to continuous learning. You can't get complacent. The world is changing constantly around you. So you've really got to invest in just really making sure that you continue to develop yourself learn something new, stay up on the technology, stay up on industry trends. You've just got to stay current. You're going to have to invest the time. It is going to have to be something that you dedicate yourself to weekly or monthly. I would encourage you to find something new you can consume daily. There are so many things I love to do. There's so many products out there where you can get all of these books and they'll give you a short version of the book. You can do that. You can have audio on, you can listen to the audio books. You can also, there's so much content now on the internet and on social. You can read articles that way. Sometimes I do lives. I join other people's lives to learn from them on YouTube. I've been trained on YouTube. Some of the girls in the audience might laugh. My mother died fairly young. So how did I learn to apply makeup? I'm not going to lie. I learned that on YouTube. I just do everything I can to just try to learn from others. I see someone mention Clubhouse out here. Oh my goodness, for those of you that have not been turned on to Clubhouse, you can go out there and learn just about anything. I was out there learning about things you needed to know about podcasting. People were talking about if you wanted to write your first book. You've got all kind of stuff out there on Clubhouse to learn. Matter of fact, a young lady that I know and love on social actually has her talk show, she said, with a girlfriend that they run at midnight on Clubhouse. And I'm like, okay, you got a job too and you doing that? I guess I'm too old and I need my sleep. But Clubhouse is another place to just kind of learn from others. But I do want to impress upon all of you to make sure that you're investing in your continuous learning. You can't get complacent. Here's another one for you. Just a couple of more, and then I'm going to open it up. The next one is know your non-negotiables. This was advice I got early on. Know your non-negotiables. So, for example, when you are at a point in your life where you can't relocate, stop telling people you'll relocate for the right opportunity, because I'm going to be the one that's going to call you on it and say, well, what's the right opportunity? That usually stumps most people. So I am going to encourage you, when you say you have a non-negotiable, it may not be the right time for you to relocate. Then state that. If you can travel, be clear in terms of how much you can travel. Right? If you can't work long hours because you've got evening commitments with your family and your kids or just other things in your life, say that. Then you don't want to take a job that's expecting you to be on email all times of the evening and night, or having to work on projects all hours of the day, or take a global job where you have to work all around the clock. Make sure you're really clear in terms of your non-negotiables. For those of you that are on sales plans, because of course I'm in sales, I know a lot of people in the sales profession. If you are thinking about taking a line role or working within the business and you know you are tied to a sales compensation plan that you can't afford to let go of, then be clear about that when you're talking to people about your career. You cannot at this time take a job that doesn't give you some type of sales incentive. I just think it's so important to be super clear in terms of what are your non-negotiables and the things that are negotiable. Right now, I think about the pandemic, and I hope all of you are well out there. A lot of us have gone through a lot of things around this pandemic, but one of the things that I'm very hopeful that will come out of this pandemic is that we won't have to relocate for some of these big jobs anymore. Because some of them would make you have to move to the headquartered location. And in my company, that was in Seattle. And if you don't want to live in Seattle or uproot your family to go there, then you would have to say no to some of those opportunities. I am really hopeful that as we move forward and we come up with this version of a new normal for us all, that we'll be able to take on more global jobs and bigger jobs, and we'll be able to live where we want. But I do think it's important for you to be super clear in terms of your negotiables and non-negotiables. And I will share this with you guys. I wouldn't relocate at times unless my family was in alignment. I would never take a reload unless me and my family, we got together, we talk about the move, we talk about the impact it was going to have on everybody, and together we made the decision before I even applied for the job, or before I would say yes to someone who had tapped me to go do a specific job. So I want you to know, it is so important for you to think about that. Now, here's one that I think is interesting that I got a lot of feedback on when I presented it to my team. It's called Know Your Value. And I'm really big on this one because for people who work for companies for a long time like myself, you start to ask the question, why have they not left? Trust me, there has been many opportunities that have come my way. I have intentionally decided to stay because there are things that I'm working on. But I tell everyone, every 2 years, go test the market. Every 2 years. And some people do it every year. And what does that mean? I want you to go out there and just see what the opportunities are. And what is the market bearing for those roles? Just so you can evaluate the deal that you're getting at your current company. I think it's also important for you to test the market to make sure that the skills that you've gained and the experience that you've gained is still valuable on the market. Are you in an area that no longer are they looking for as they're looking for the next, whatever role you're trying to go after? You want to make sure that the experience that you're gaining is going to be extremely valuable, because there's nothing worse than when the company decides that they no longer want to invest in that role and they put that investment towards a different role and you find yourself without a job. Then you're stuck in the frustration of, what do I do now? But if you are constantly testing the market and evaluating your value on the market, hopefully you'll build up a network of people that you can tap if something should happen or you're ready for a career shift. So I just think it's really healthy to do it. And for some people, it really helps them really say, all right, is what I am getting paid what I deserve to get paid? Is it what the market is paying, or are they undervaluing me? Then you can have more honest conversations with the receipts of how much you're valued on the market versus how your company is valuing you. But I do think it can really help bolster your confidence, and it can really help you have really good quality conversations about you, your career, what you'd like to do, and to understand what the market is looking for. All right, my last one, and then we're going to open it up. Get ready. Succession planning. This is where a lot of companies today are thinking about, how do we do talent movement in the organization? Some companies do this really well. Other companies don't do it so well. But usually every leader worth their salt is always asking, who are the people that I should be considering when I do have a job open? Now, I do a formal succession plan with my organization for all roles. All right? So it is important for me to understand who are the people, up and coming leaders in the business that we should be thinking about inside the company and outside the company. Now, I'm sharing this tip with you because as you are doing your career planning, I want you to start thinking about what roles you might be interested in. And I always tell people, don't get fixated on roles. Get fixated on experiences, because the role may not have been created yet. There is nothing better than being an architect of your own role. So really get focused on experiences. But it is so important as you think about the experiences and the part of the business that you want to learn, that you can say very openly, you know what? I would love to be on John's succession plan. That's a part of the business that I've spent a lot of time learning about, and I feel like I can bring X amount of value, and I'd like to be on that succession plan. Do you have a formal succession plan for them? And therefore, what will happen, hopefully, if you build the right connections, they will reach back to you and says, you know what, John's moving on. I would love to talk to you about this role. And if they have a formal succession plan, hopefully they'll actually spend some time talking to you and say, you know what, you've got a very interesting background. I think you could bring a lot of value to this organization. And they'll begin to add you to the succession plan. So I'm going to pause there. I tried to give you guys quite a few tips that I thought could be helpful no matter where you are. So what is on your mind? Hi, Charla. Hi, Deedee Weedie. Welcome, welcome. So what is on your mind? Was that helpful? I see someone, was it Shantari? 6, know your value? That was good? All right, love it. Hi, Charla. So what else is on your mind? Any questions out there? Great tips. Thanks for sharing. My sincere pleasure. I could go on. I wanted to keep it just a few. Super helpful, Pooja. Glad to hear that. Hi, Anita. Glad that it was helpful. Hi, Jennifer. Oh my God. Hi, Rolla. Fantastic. So, any questions you guys have? Yes, I know you're taking notes out there. Any questions you have for me? Throw them out there relative to career development. Oh, absolutely. You love the succession plan? Yes. And not everyone's really great at that. Can I go a little deeper on number 7 with succession planning? Just verify that. Yes. Okay. Love the tips. Okay. On succession plan, I think that's the 7th one. So can you confirm that? And actually, let me see something. Do you want to come live? I say that like I've done that before, but I will figure it out. Say yes, and then I can grab you. Okay, I'm going to go a little deeper on 7 because it seems like that's what everybody's, a couple have asked for. So number 7 is a succession plan. So on the succession plan, that is something most leaders do, okay? Where they actually start to think about every role within their organization. Who are the people ready now? Who are the people ready in about 1 to 3 years? And who are those individuals that are ready maybe 3 to 5 years? And what I am suggesting, thank you. What I am suggesting on succession planning is as you are building out your career plan and you have a particular interest in a role or a set of experiences that one particular team could provide you, go do an informational with that leader to talk about, just to understand the role a little bit better, but also give them some understanding about who you are and what you could bring to the team. And then at the end of that conversation, you let them know what you would like, whether I would love for you to consider me when that role becomes open in the next 6 to 12 months. Or I'd love to be on more of your midterm succession plan. I would love to do this in about 3 to 5 years or 1 to 3 years. I just think it's so important as you continue your networking and building out your network in your company to make sure that they know what your interests are and go speak to the leaders that can make that possible. Now, I saw a question on here about mentors and sponsors and how do I think about that? So let me say that quickly. So with mentors, I'm one of those that, yes, I do have formal mentors. Those are ones that we enter into a relationship. We have a set of goals. We meet at a certain frequency, and we make sure that through that mentoring relationship that I am learning from their experiences and we're helping me accomplish whatever goals that I set out. I'm a firm believer that every mentoring relationship should have a beginning date and an end date. Because if you just let it go on forever, I really believe it's hard. You should free that mentor up to go invest in other people. Now, after you've been mentored by them, you have a relationship with them. So then you can add them to your board of directors, or you can add them to your list of coaches, where you bring them in to help with situational issues that you encounter and say, hey, I want to run something by you. Ran into this challenge with a customer, or I ran into this challenge at the office. I have to have a difficult conversation with my boss or a difficult conversation with an employee. Just need a sounding board. And then you look to have time and deal with that situation. They give you their input and then you move on. So when I think about mentors, I think about they have a set of experiences that you are looking to learn from, but you as the mentee own that relationship from a standpoint of, here are a set of goals that I'm trying to accomplish and I'd like to partner with you on these set of goals. Now let's flip that. Sponsor. The sponsor is critical. Let me tell you, I should put that on the list. As a matter of fact, it was one of the ones I was thinking about putting on the list. Your sponsor, inside a corporate environment, you won't be successful without one. You know why? Because your sponsor is that person that's speaking for you when you're not even in the room. when you think about all of those opportunities that come up inside the organization, and they're talking about talent in these rooms, and we talk about talent a lot. We talk about roles. We want to know, well, who are the people we should be thinking about for these jobs that we may not even know? Your sponsor is up there selling you, and you didn't even know it. Now, I've had people come up to me and say, will you be my sponsor? That, to me, is something you earn. You should have a relationship with that person. They should have experience with you. They should know what your work ethic is like. They should know the value and your strengths, and they should know all of that stuff. I wouldn't go ask someone to be my sponsor unless there's already an existing relationship and someone says to you, but what can I do for you? Because they're sitting in rooms that you can't get in. And maybe you're applying for a job and they know you and they have a relationship, and you say to them, you know what? I've applied for this job. I'm not sure what it's going to require to get it. I sure would love your sponsorship to help support me getting that job, and speak about your experience with me. In that scenario, that's easy, right? So they will easily lean in and do everything they can to help. So that's the way I think about a mentor and a sponsor. A sponsor is earned, and this is someone who has experience with you, and they're speaking for you when you're not even in the room. They're making recommendations for you, whether that's to sit on a board, or if opportunities come their way, they're recommending you and they're sending it over to you. You'll see signs of a sponsor, because that's what they're doing for you. All right, let's see what else we got. Did I answer that question for you? Please send a thumbs up. Stay as long as the relationship feels like you are getting value. Absolutely. Especially in the mentoring relationship. Love it, Lani. Okay, thank you. What else is on your mind? I think I've missed. I'm trying to keep up with the conversations. Awesome. See the thumbs up. I appreciate the thumbs up. Glad that was helpful. Let's see. Now I see a question mark. Y'all know I'm new at this, right? So does that mean someone wants to join? So I see I got some questions built in here. So unrelated to the topic, but I get a lot of questions about building websites and branding and all of that. I will come back and I will do a separate topic on that. I'm no expert there, but I'll bring people that have some great tips on branding, helping you with websites and all of that good stuff to help you figure that out. Because I will tell you, that is a journey to figure out how you want to represent yourself externally. So what else is on your mind as it relates to career development? Do I have a favorite career development book? You know, because I am that leader who obsesses over leadership, I tend to only choose business books, because that's the area that I continue to want to invest in myself and grow. My latest book, because I'm actually teaching it inside Microsoft, I'm facilitating, is Dare to Lead with Brene Brown. I've really embraced a lot of the principles in that book around being a more courageous leader. So that is where I'm at right now. But I do have a tendency to choose leadership books and books that are helping me be more effective as a leader. How often, it's kind of funny, I can barely see some of the text. How often should one post articles, shares, and comments on LinkedIn? I'm not an expert at this. What's too much? I've been told maybe once or twice a day, depending on your platform. On LinkedIn, I think we try to do once a day, and we don't do it every single day. We try to give it a day off. When it comes to articles, I write my own articles, and I have to be inspired. And for me, I was doing it once a month, twice a month. I actually think I have a couple of articles I haven't even published yet, because I just want to fine tune them. Somebody says once a week. So you have to do what, you're going to have to talk to some subject matter experts on that. I'm not the person. So for my social kings and queens out there, please give them some feedback in the chat, because I'm not the best person to ask. I just have been trying to do it daily, 2 to 3 times a week minimum for LinkedIn. So thanks, Roxy. Hi, Roxy. She's my nighttime host, by the way, on Clubhouse. So that's one suggestion, 2 to 3 times a week on minimum on LinkedIn. Okay? How did you evaluate your employee strengths? So one of the things that I did to evaluate my employee strengths is I had this wonderful woman by the name of the Joy Maximizer. You guys will have to follow up with me. She's on LinkedIn. I can make sure I share with you her information. We actually ran the strengths assessment in my organization to give us a common language to talk about our strengths. And we actually had a number of sessions afterwards with her to help evaluate those strengths and to help us kind of understand how to leverage strengths to benefit the entire organization. I've gotten a ton of feedback on that. For those of you that have the book, Go Discover Your Strengths, it used to have a free assessment in the back of the book where you could do it, and it's the same thing that we're using. All right, how did you find out what was your superpower? You know, it's kind of funny. How I found out about my superpower was it's something that you constantly get feedback on. People always tell you how wonderful you are at something, or when you're doing it, you know how you get that vibe. You say, you know what, I'm doing pretty good here. I'm feeling pretty good. This is my thing. I enjoy this. Strengths Finder. Thank you for the formal name. That's when you know it's your strength, is when you're just kind of flowing. You're flowing in that zone and you kind of go, you know, this comes a little easy for me. Or I always say it's that thing when I know I would do it and not get paid. Now, truth be told, I tell everybody this, I can literally talk about leadership all day long. I can solve leadership problems all day long and not get paid. That's how much I love it. That's when you know you kind of found your groove. All right, now for those of you, thank you, Ashley, for sharing the link to the Joy Maximizer. We used her to help do the Strengths Finder assessment. I'm sure there's many other people out there. She was fantastic. She got energy for days, and she got all of us excited about our strengths and creating an organization that's leading from our strengths. Because I am a firm believer, as you're building a more inclusive organization and being a more inclusive leader, it's really important to know what everyone's great at so that you can figure out how to activate it in your organization and drive the outcomes that you're after. So that is so important. Any advice for fresh grads going into the workforce when looking for sponsors and mentors? I think it's important. First of all, those that fresh grads coming out, getting ready for the workplace, so excited to have you. I'm so excited about the generation coming in. Y'all are challenging us to just really think differently, solve problems differently, and I am here for it, and I want to see more of it. So first and foremost, I don't want you to come in and feel like you don't have any value to add because you're fresh out of college, because you have a ton of value to add, because we have a lot to learn from you. But I also want to encourage you that you have a lot to learn from us. Because there's a lot of wisdom there that we've made some mistakes. I want you to be able to learn from those mistakes. When looking for, I would say start by looking for a mentor. I would look for mentors inside and outside the company. Initially, I would probably look for a peer mentor, someone that could kind of help you with your onboarding into your role. And then after you get a little settled in, then I would probably say maybe look for a career mentor, someone that maybe has already been there, done that, and is probably in a leadership role that could help support you as you're navigating your journey in the workplace. And then I would tell you to always get you a mentor outside the company. You know why that's so important? Because there are things you need to talk about that you don't need to share with everybody inside the company. Now I'm going to say that again. There are things that are happening inside the company you don't want to share with everybody because you don't want all your business out there. Go talk to someone that you hold as a confidant outside the company that you can talk to, so that you're not necessarily telling all your business inside the company. I squint when I say that one because I've seen some people make some bad mistakes in that area. When it comes to a sponsor, when you see that person that's investing in you and you see that they really like you, like it's pretty easy to know the people that I like and enjoy because I brag on them all the time. And I have a lot of people, a number of them on this call right now that I absolutely adore. And you could see me as a sponsor because I'm always advocating for you. And even when they're not in the room with me, I'm advocating for them. When you spot that person, I say embrace them. I'm looking at the time. As you guys know, I definitely have a day job too, and I still got work to do tonight. So I'm going to end here, but I wanted to say something in closing. One, did you like this format? I'm experimenting. We're thinking about different platforms. Tell me what you think. I'm also going to have a link that Ashley is getting ready to provide for all of you. If you have suggestions for future topics or you have questions you want me to answer, I am going to go out there and I'm going to select the next topic from that list, and I'm going to try and answer as many questions as I can. My goal is to do this weekly, and I only want to do it for 1 hour because it's just my way to scale, right? I want to come from my heart. This is not scripted. I just had a couple of ideas. My team loved it, so I said, my team says, share it with them. So I gave you guys a fraction of the tips that I shared with them. But I will keep doing this as long as you keep showing up and you're getting value from this conversation. But as I close, and I think, Ashley, if you could go ahead and drop the link again for people to be able to submit questions and recommendations for future topics. I also want to I thought I would end on this note tonight. I want to speak to the people who are going through this pandemic, or something bad has happened to you and you're stuck. You fell down and you just can't get back up. You know who I'm talking to. You can't seem to get yourself out of depression. You're just kind of frustrated with your career and you don't know how to move forward. I heard this concept of failing forward and it has become a mantra for me. I know many of you look at us and you think, oh my God, you've done everything right to get where you are. And the truth of the matter is, none of us get it all right. We all have to make mistakes just so we can learn from it and move forward. And the reason I am on here on this live sharing with you guys is because I really want to be the person that I was looking for when I was coming up, which is somebody who was going to be real with me, who wasn't going to be perfect, flawed and all, share how they got where they are and what are some of those things that they practice. So for those of you that are stuck trying to pick yourself back up, I don't want you to be the victim. I want you to be a strategist. You know what a strategist is? It's somebody who takes a look at that failure and says, what did I learn from that? Because there's at least one thing you've learned. You learn what doesn't work. So then I want you to think about, all right, there's a piece of it that you own. And don't be looking to place blame somewhere, but just look to understand the lessons you were supposed to get from it. And I want you to fail forward. And fail forward means I'm going to take all of my learnings from this mistake and I'm going to say, I'm going to apply it going forward. And I'm just going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying something different until I find the right recipe and the right chemistry and the right thing that helps me get to where I'm trying to go. And I don't want to see you keep doing the same old thing that didn't give you the outcome that you wanted, because that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. I want you to stop, learn from the mistake. Just do a self-assessment. What worked, what didn't work. If it involved a lot of people, invite them in to be a part of that with you and say, all right, we know what doesn't work. Now let's try some new things to move forward. So that is my one thing I'm going to offer you tonight separately, or on top of everything I tried to share, is just to say fail forward. Try to find a way to pick yourself up. Look for at least one person that you think can encourage you. I also think it's important to find someone who really can be empathetic and really understand what it's like to sit with you in your darkness, to listen to you and understand what you're going through, and offer you a hand and ask you, what does support look like to pull you out of it? But I want to challenge all of you that are coming to these weekly sessions. I would love to see us form community. I'd love to see us support one another. When one person is down, I'd like to see us encourage them. I'm going to try and encourage you guys. That's what I try to do with my platform. But let's try to help everyone be the best version of themselves and recognize that we all have good days and bad days. But we're all in this together. All right? So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed spending my evening with you as well. And I look forward to the feedback. I apologize for the technical difficulties. I think I got the hang of it. I'm going to have to practice bringing people live next time, so we'll figure that out. Thanks for your patience, and have a wonderful evening and a great rest of the week, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.